Hey everybody, Rich Groves here, and I want to welcome you to another Get to Know the Speaker session. And today I've got my good friend David Dodge joining us, and I want to bring him on here just a second to help acclimate you. If you don't know David Dodge, you're going to know a little bit about David here in this short time we're together. But I just want to remind everybody, go out if you are interested in becoming a real estate investor, or you're a real estate investor and you'd like to take your business to the next level. You want to join us at Gateway to Freedom Real Estate Investor Conference, November 4th and 5th in St. Louis. And one of the 17 expert speakers we are going to have with us is David Dodge. And David is a guy I've known for a few years now. And I mean, more than just a handful. I've known David for a while. And it's a pleasure and an honor to know David. Let me tell you a little bit about David. A little bit, some people may not know. I'm just kidding. I'm not spilling any beans here. No, but David is a St. Louis real estate investor with over 19 years of experience. He first started investing, and this was cool. When I first met Dave, he had rental properties out in Columbia, Missouri with University of Missouri, Columbia. And he was then, branching out into wholesaling, and we've done, Dave and I did a fix and flip together. But Dave specializes in the BRRRR method right now to help build his passive income portfolio and to acquire rental properties that way. But the one cool thing I really, really like about Dave, and I'm kind of going off script here right now, is Dave is a master marketer. David is a master connector of people as well, as far as connecting like people to the deals he has and all of that kind of stuff. So David is going to be our marketing and lead generation expert at the conference. And I couldn't think of a better person to talk about that topic than David Dodge. That's why I asked David to join us, and he so graciously accepted. So everybody, I hope you can see the screen here, but welcome David Dodge. How are you doing, Dave?
Hey, Rich, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me, and blessed to be here. And yeah, man, the first fix and flip I ever did was with you, brother.
That was so crazy to think of, man. That is so crazy.
We were sitting at a conference just like the one you're hosting.
Yeah.
And you were sitting next to me, and we kicked it off, and one of us had a deal and the other one of us had some resources and some contractors, and we were like, hey, seems like a good opportunity to work together. We're both here at this conference. We're both wanting to do deals and make money in real estate and, flip some houses, and the stars aligned and we did a deal, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And man, I tell you what, in watching your growth and your trajectory over these past few years, man, it's so freaking incredible. And I'm congratulations to you and your crew and your teams, and
likewise, man.
Already. So awesome.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, I know I didn't do your bio very good. I apologize, but tell people.
Oh, you did great, Rich. You did great.
Tell people watching out there a little bit about David Dodge.
Yeah, sure. So 39 years old, and I started investing in real estate when I was 20 or 21. So, about 20 years ago, give or take. Started with rentals. I was buying properties the wrong way, buying rentals the wrong way. The reason I say that is because there's so many better ways to do it, right? The way I started out was finding a property with an agent first, making an offer on that property, then going to a bank and getting a 80% bank loan, then scrambling to get the 20%, which I basically borrowed from friends, family, relatives, so on and so forth. Then acquired the property. Now, I did use a cool strategy in the beginning called house hacking, where I'd live in the property, rent out some of the rooms. But regardless of the cool strategy of the house hacking, I was borrowing money, or I should say I was putting down 20% to get into these properties. And, to speed things up and not bore everybody here, I did that about 10 or 12 times in 10 years. So it was slow. It was like one a year, basically. I think I got lucky 2 years out of 10 and did 2 in a year instead of 1, right? And then, about 9 years ago, after 10 years, right, 9 years ago, I discovered wholesaling and direct-to-seller marketing and networking and all these great things that we can do to get direct to a seller to where we can get deep discounts on properties. And then I also discovered very, very cool strategies like the BRRRR method and creative financing and subject to, and, there's lots of strategies, of course, but I discovered these strategies that not only would allow me to get better deals than what's on the MLS, get deep discounts, and ultimately how to bypass putting down 20% on properties to acquire them. And Rich, I don't know exactly, but, from the hip, I think I just did my 1,000th deal. I don't know exactly. I'm going to be very transparent about that, but it's a lot. It's a lot of deals, Now, full transparency, 10 years I did 12 deals in 10 years. So the other 988, I guess it would be, happened in the last 9.
Man, that's incredible. Then so what you're trying to tell people is you've done more than just a couple.
I've done a few.
Yeah. You know what you're talking about. And that's huge. That is huge. Because in this business, you see a thing or two. It's kind of like as a farmer, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. It's kind of like, you in your investment business, man, a thing or two because you've gone through it. You've done it.
Right? Crazy things, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, man. So kudos to you, because when I see young people, and I'm talking to the 20-year-old David Dodge that started buying properties to rent. And
still feel 20.
So yeah, well, you look 20, brother. You look great. You look 20. Matter of fact, I want to see ID when you say you're 30. But no, I do every once in a while. You do too, I'm sure. When you're out networking, you meet these younger dudes that are wanting to get into real estate. You're like, man, and you, especially, you can identify with that because that's where you were. Me, I'm like, man, I wish I would have had that knowledge or drive when I was 20 to do this then. So, that is incredible. So you started pretty young, but when was it? Or maybe that was when you started or right before you started. When was it you realized, real estate investing is what I want to do with my life?
There was 2 times, essentially. One was in college. Before I bought my first property, I had this awesome instructor that essentially read, the course is a personal financial planning course, right, within that school and within that college, right? But the actual course itself, the content of the course was the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. It was amazing. And then we just went through that book the whole semester. So what's the semester? 4.5 months, 4 months, something like that. So we went through that book the whole semester. We would read a chapter, we would discuss, we talk about pros and cons. He himself was a landlord. He himself was basically retired doing professor work as a hobby, a passion. A passion is really a better word there. And I was like, man, this is freaking cool. I haven't really thought about it a whole lot since then, but it would be kind of cool to do what he did. And at some point, maybe in 20 or 30 years down the road, but go be a professor somewhere and open people's eyes up like he did to me. So that was the first time, Rich. Okay. He was just really cool. And my eyes were open. So that's really kind of where I started with the rentals. And then the second time, really to answer, more so in alignment with your question, when did I decide that I wanted to do it full time and be a real estate investor as a career? Was about 9 years ago. I was about 29 or 30, essentially. I think I was 30. Let's just go with that for simplicity. And I was seeing. So I'm actually. Here's the truth of the matter, man. I was reading a lot of books, working with a couple different courses, and I went and I met a few different investors, Brian Schroeder being one of them. And he just inspired me, man. I don't even know if I've ever even told him. I think I maybe have, but he inspired the hell out of me. And at the time he owned 150 rentals and I had 12. Oh, wow. I was like, man, at the rate I'm going, I'm going to be 140 years old by the time I get to 150. This is crazy. And, Brian, I went to lunch with him. I showed up to their REIAs and I met Philip Vincent. And I heard Philip Vincent on the Bigger Pockets podcast just a couple of weeks prior to me going there. And Philip will tell you this story too. I went and I met Philip and I said, hey, I'm Dave. I'm not going away. I'd love to get to know you. And me and Philip do business together today. We're great friends. He's one of my great friends. So it was just, I think it was just me meeting people and seeing what was possible and being inspired. and learning about direct-to-seller marketing and deeply discounted properties and awesome strategies that we can use to acquire properties, get control of properties, and ultimately have freedom. And isn't that what this event's all about?
Yes. Yes, sir. That's awesome.
So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all. I appreciate that. And you're right. That's what this event's all about. It's gateway to freedom, and I'm gonna wrap up, I think, with a question. I think I do, and it was one that I didn't shoot over before anyway. But it'll be an easy one. It'll be a softball. But there's when you see any persona out there that talks about real estate investing, a lot of times what you do see is like the highlight reel, right? You see the successes, whatever. You hardly see any defeats, or you hardly see any roadblocks or hurdles they had to overcome. But I'm going to ask you a double-sided question. What would you what would you say has been what was your proudest moment as a real estate investor?
Oh, man. That's such a loaded question because I just am so proud and happy every time I do a deal. So like sometimes it's 5-6 times a month, So I'd say the proudest, definitely was the first deal. Like it took me about roughly 4.5 months to get my first deal. Yeah. And, the first deal is always one of the best deals, if not the best deal, because not just because you got paid, it's because you worked so hard for it, you accomplished something, and ultimately you proved to yourself that A, it's possible, and B, you are capable of doing it. And it's really what I'm getting at is it's such a big confidence builder. It took me 4.5 months. And the cool part, Rich, was within a month of my first deal, I did 2 more. Took me 4.5 to do one, and then I basically did 3 the first month that I started doing deals.
Right.
And it was like my confidence was there. I was capable, like I had said. And, now it's like I fall backwards into them. But it's because of the marketing and the direct-to-seller approach that we take.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So the flip side of that, let me ask you this. This got, make you a little vulnerable. So I apologize for that. But also, it's part of this is get to know the speaker, right? So who is David Dodge? But what would you say was your biggest lesson learned as a real estate investor?
Oh, man. There's 2 or 3. Biggest I would say is it's difficult to find deals on the market, right? It's easier. Flip side, it's easier to find deals direct to seller. I also learned that real estate agents, in order for them to get business, they need to sell themselves. And part of selling themselves is let me get you the most amount of money. So it's very counterintuitive. And I am an agent as of a couple months ago. I don't dislike agents, but it's counterintuitive for us to try to go find on-market properties that are listed by an agent, because that agent has already told their client that they're going to get them the most they can. And when I come in and offer 50 cents on the dollar, they're like, yeah, I'm not even going to present that offer, So that was another lesson. And then I would say that the next one, and I'll keep it short, is that I can't force or even really convince a seller to be motivated. And, for the first year, maybe 2, I was like just spinning my tires. I was doing deals and making money and all this stuff, but I was spinning my tires mentally and emotionally because I was like trying to convince people that they need to do business with me. And I had this epiphany, maybe it might have even been 2 years. I'm not even embarrassed to admit it. You want me to get vulnerable? Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, it took me 2 years to figure out that it's like this business and this game isn't about trying to sell people. Instead, it's about trying to be there to help them. And once I learned that, like everything switched. And my new goal wasn't to try to sell people or convince them of anything. It was to be their friend and let them know that I'm here to help them if and when they're ready. And if they can get more money elsewhere, then I want that for them, right? I don't want anyone to ever be upset that they're working with me or have buyer's remorse or any of these things. If they want to go work with an agent and time isn't of the essence, then please, by all means, go do that. But if you're ready to go now and you want to close in 2 or 3 weeks and you want to sell it as is, quick cash, all the things that we as investors offer in terms of the convenience, then I can help you with that. And I would love to work with you, you know? So these are definitely some lessons that I'll be talking about at the conference too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And you know, that's so good that you were able to share that, because everybody might think, well, shoot, he's been killing it 10 years. It's all been a smooth road. You're like, well, hold on now.
Hold on now.
I have some growing pains. I know
times where it's like, I don't know if I want to keep going or not. But, you know, in hindsight, all those lessons, all those, you know, hiccups, all those road bumps just helped me grow and learn. And, you know, I just hired a coach yesterday. I always have at least a coach or two. I got 3 coaches right now. 3, you know, so it's like, I'm always working with coaches. I've probably bought 2 or 3 courses in the last 30 days on different topics, not all real estate, by the way, just life in general. Yeah. You know, I embrace coaching. I embrace courses. I embrace mentorship. I embrace community. You know, so all of these things, I'm a huge fan of. I mean, I don't know how much money I've spent on coaches and courses in my life, but I would say easily $250,000. Right. You know, maybe double. I don't know, you know, but a lot. And I don't look at any of that as an expense. You know, I'm saying that with pride and enthusiasm, that those are the things that are helping me grow. You know, it's not the, I don't know if I should go spend $5,000 on this or $2,000 on this or even 200 on this, right? Like, you know, if I can learn one little nugget from it, it's worth it. It's worth it, you know? And some of the coaches I hire cost $30,000 or $40,000.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of them out there that aren't cheap, right?
I know. But, you know, the ones that are, and here's something else I've learned too, just while we're on this topic really quickly is, you know, when you get stuff for free, you don't value it. And I offer a lot of free stuff. I have a free course on wholesaling, a free course on landlording and the BRRRR method, and free courses on how to write contracts and how to use them to gain control and all this stuff. You know, I got all this stuff on YouTube. You, of course, do too. But, you know, whenever, you know, you got to put yourself in the other person's shoes, right? And whenever I get something for free, I don't really value it as much. Let me finish, right? As much, of course, as if I pay something for it. You know, so it's like paying a coach isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. A, you're learning. B, you're growing. But C, the paid part of it makes you focus and care and actually listen to what's being said. So, I mean, I really hope that somebody's watching this now or later in the replay and it's like, you know what? I like that, because to me, the paying part isn't a bad thing. It's like, okay, I'm committing. Right. You know, I'm committing. I'm not going to take this as a joke or as, you know, not serious. So let's go. Here we go. Let's go.
Absolutely. No, you're big on that. And, you know, you saying, well, shoot, you got 3 coaches right now. I don't know. I honestly don't know of any successful people. Maybe, and if they are, you know, reach out to me. Successful people in their field that do not have at least one coach.
Yeah, at least one, or have had at least one within the last few months, right? It doesn't always have to be 24/7, 365, but like these successful people I know, they're always interested in it. And even if they're not doing it actively, they're in and out of it often. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Even if they're picking up a 3-month course on this, there, they'll improve something, or a 3-month this, whatever, 12-month this, whatever. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. That you have to. I mean, it's just, if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to truly learn success, I think that you need somebody that's been there and can guide you through it.
Yes, sir. Agree.
Absolutely. And so let me. I know I'm running out of time here for you, but let me. And that's partially my fault.
Oh, good. I got a few
apologies to people for the technology issues there in the beginning, but
no problem.
So you mentioned also, you know, pay for something, and there is more value, right? Just to that, people value that. Just, it's a natural thing. Unless you're the kind of person who just loves throwing money away, you're going to value something you pay for, right? Over something free. So, you know, Gateway to Freedom coming up here in St. Louis, November 4th and 5th, is a pretty valuable package. I mean, I don't know if I mean, I know you've been to other.
I'm impressed with the speaker lineup. I know most of the people, almost all of them, maybe 1 or 2 I don't know very well, but I'm just excited to get to see them and learn from them and listen to their, you know, what they got to say.
Yeah.
So, agreed.
And we even had to stop. I mean, there's so much talented, successful people here in St. Louis. We had to stop. Like we reached out. I think the first 20 people we reached out to, we nailed down our 17. And it was like, okay, all right, well, these people will call another time for maybe next year or whatever.
Roll.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's amazing. And then just the giving heart that you and the other 16 have demonstrated. I'm so grateful. I'm overly blessed and successful and
Likewise.
grateful.
Likewise.
But if there's somebody on the fence, whether they're a 30-year, 20-year expert in real estate, or they just get it started and they're a little shy, like, I don't know, that may be too much for me. What would you say to them that like the biggest benefit of going to a conference like this is?
Oh my goodness. Like, I could talk about that for 2 hours, Rich. But like, the biggest benefit, right? I mean, here's the thing. People often say, and I know Sam Prim talks about this a lot, and I love Sam. Sam's great, right? But one of the things I really like that he says is like, people look at as being an entrepreneur or investing in real estate or flipping houses or whatever it is, owning properties as being risky. But like, look on the flip side, like, I look as having like a 9-to-5 and working that 9-to-5 for 30 or 40 or 50 years, like, as being risky. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to kind of flip the script, so it's like, or maybe risky is the wrong word here. Maybe it's security that I'm looking for, but you know what I mean, right? Or freedom, right? Getting freedom. Like, do you need to go work for 30 or 40 or 50 years to get that retirement or that pension, to get that freedom? You don't, yeah, that works. That's fine. But you don't have to do that, folks. There's another way. There's lots of other ways. There's a better way. And real estate just so happens to be a pretty simple approach. It can be easy. It might not be at first, but it can be once you learn it and you get that confidence, like I mentioned earlier. And, most people, I think, have heard this quote, but more people have become millionaires through real estate than everything else combined.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to pick a road, like, why not pick a proven one?
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's good. I like that. Pick a proven one. Absolutely. No, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
And kudos to Sam. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And Lucas. Not discounting Lucas either. Lucas.
Right. Those two are killing it too, man. I mean, we're excited to have half of that dynamic duo joining us,
That's right.
Great honor.
I'm excited to see those guys. Yes.
Yeah. And, so one last thing, let me again get back to the whole get to know thing, right? So, no, 2 questions. One.
That's okay. Yeah, I got time for 2 or 3.
All right. Good. This one's fairly easy. You kind of hit it on the head with you drizzled along the way this theme of the event, right? It's called Gateway to Freedom for a reason. But how would you define that word freedom? How do you?
I love this question, Rich. I really, truly do, because most people, when you ask them, like, what's freedom look like to you? They tend, and I did this too. I'm guilty of this too. They tend to think financial freedom, and that's fine. That's part of it, right? But like, why do you, like, what good is financial freedom? What does that get you? What's like, the whole Simon Sinek, ask why, keep asking why until you can't answer it anymore. Right. Well, real estate creates income and ultimately passive income. Passive income creates financial freedom. But what does financial freedom create? Well, financial freedom creates life freedom. It creates time freedom. So like, to me, freedom it's a lot of things, but really it's the ability to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, where I want, how I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really what this is all about. It's not having to report to anybody at any given time if you don't want to. Now, obviously, you need to be responsible. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But, I haven't had a boss in 17 years, maybe 15 years. Go at 15 years. Now I still have a boss, my business partner and my wife and my friends and all these other people. Like, I'm responsible to them, of course, but I'm not going to get fired if I want to go to the park today at 2 p.m. I just go. I don't have to ask anybody permission. So, that's really what freedom to me is. It's just the ability to do what I want, with whom I want, where I want, how I want, when I want, without having to, feel guilty about it, or to, not be able to do it. It's just all those things.
Sure. And that's awesome. That's a great answer. I love that answer. And then finally, to get to know David Dodge a little more, here's a little side, not related to real estate and all. As a matter of fact, outside of real estate, outside of your professional life, what is your biggest passion?
Oh man, you know, it's spending time with friends, family, traveling. I laughing, you know, helping people. You know, lots of stuff. You know, biggest is that's a tough one when it comes to passions, right? Because I just have so many things that fill my cup. But really, I mean, just doing things that genuinely make my heart and soul happy, as well as doing things for others that makes their heart and soul happy. You know, one of the best ways to help yourself is to help other people.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's amazing. And that, you know, I've been saying these through these get to know the speaker sessions. I've been telling folks, look, if you watched all of these in the session, you are going to see a similarity thread.
Oh yeah, and you're going to learn a ton.
It's that giving nature. It's that I want to help pour back into the community that made me a success. You know, so I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time.
Likewise.
Thank you to Julia for loaning it to us for
the best.
You know,
he is the best.
Absolutely. So, but thank you, David. I appreciate your time, buddy. And I will talk to you very soon. Everybody, real quick, if you want to get $50 off your Gateway to Freedom ticket, go out to www.g2free.com. That's the number 2, not the word 2. So free.com. Put in David at checkout and you'll get $50 off your ticket, whether it's general admission or VIP. So get out there, get your tickets. And David, thanks again, buddy. I appreciate it.
Hey, great seeing you, Rich. Thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to the event, man.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
See you, buddy.
Okay, bye.